Good morning, Arlington ISD. How are we doing today? That's what I'm talking about. Let's give a big round of applause to our fine arts department, all these band students. My name is Lin Wynn, and I'm your MC for this morning. We're so glad you're here to celebrate the beginning of the school year. It's going to be a great year. Before we get started, I want to do a quick roll call. So when I call your network, I need for you to stand up and yell as loud as you can. All right? Here we go. Arlington High Network. All right. Where's the Bowie network? Where's Bowie? Let me hear you, the Lamar network. Where's Lamar? The Martin network. The Sam Houston network. And last but not least, the Seguin network. Let me hear your central office staff network up there on top. And what about our school board of trustees? Where are they? There they are. Dr. Cavazos, we're all present today. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Douglas Stoddard, Director of Bands, Associate Professor of Music, and Coordinator of Wind and Percussion Division in the UTA Music Department. Dr. Stoddard will lead our combined high school marching bands in Let Freedom Ring. If you would, please stand for the posting of colors under the command of Cadet Major Sergeant Brittany Abston, Texas 34th Air Force, Junior ROTC. Following the posting of colors, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Karen Kennison-French, Associate Professor and Director of Choral Activities at UTA. She will conduct our select high school performers from each high school choirs in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
At this time, please help me welcome Board President Bowie Hogg.
Thank you. And you guys did a great job with calling out your network. For going first, Arlington High, you did a great job. Right? First is tough, I'm proud. And then Lamar went, and I thought, man, for up top, you guys are doing awesome. Bowie's great every year. Martin, you were right there behind me, so I thought my ears were gonna blow out. Seguin, for our smallest network, you killed it. But I have to say, for being up top, Lamar was the loudest. Congratulations. Now, I know that's not the way to start off a speech for a whole organization, right? This is not the way to end. Oh, wait. And up top, we must say, possibly the greatest and the loudest of all, with Lamar had signs, but Sam Houston Network. And especially as I see Goodman with their signs, I like it. So especially not the way to start off. But let me start off and say, what a great honor for us to be together. And let me start off by saying thank you. Because today we're here to talk about what's happened in the last year. And let me just say, one of the biggest and best things that happened this last year. So what was it? Yep, my wife had a baby. We had a baby. Helen Caroline Hogg. I think we have some pictures. You can see she's already posing. She's already got me wrapped around her finger. If you'd like to see more pictures, I think I have about 150 on my phone already as the proud father that came in. But in my world, that was the biggest thing that occurred to us. She was born July 19th, 2014. She just celebrated 1 month. So if I look tired, I am. As my wife said, you look really bad the other day. I said, thank you. That really builds my encouragement on there. But let's talk about, while that was the biggest thing in my life, the biggest thing that occurred for the AISD this last year, and this is where we have to just say thank you. The AISD passed the largest bond package in the history of Tarrant County. This is critical, and it's critical because it takes the goals of what we've all established. Things we needed to bring up technology, to bring up fine arts, to bring our academics, to bring the facilities that students are looking for, the items teachers are looking for, to bring it up. These are important things. It's important things for what community members and people, why they're choosing a town to live in, are choosing on. And they're critical. So I just have to say on behalf of my colleagues and the entire staff, thank you so much for helping pass, because we know it couldn't have passed if it wasn't for the staff of the AISD, so thank you. Now, on the same note, let's talk. Those are buildings, those are equipment, that's what they are. Anyone can build buildings, anyone can buy equipment, but none of that matters if we don't have the entire staff to do this. So we know, while that's the biggest thing, the most important thing is all those students that are out here. My daughter, who's class of 32 is when we're calculating. Yeah, I'm already starting to prepare. I already started the college fund, starting to work on that. So, but those are the reasons why we have it, and that's what our staff does. It's about those students that were out here. And I think there's not a better way to start this than having the students that are out here before to realize why we're all here. But let me take a second also and thank my colleagues on the board. The Board of Trustees is one that I said I was much skinnier and had no gray hair when I got elected to the board. It's a very difficult, but honestly the most rewarding job I think any of us have had. So let me take a second to recognize my colleagues. Our board vice president, Ms. Jamie Solons. Our board secretary, Dr. Aaron Reich. Our board assistant secretary, Mr. John Hibbs. Our board member and past president, Ms. Gloria Pena. Board member and past president, I was say doctor, I was about to give you a title, Mr. Peter Barron. And this last year, we had a transition. We had one of our board members run for a state senate seat, and so he had to step off the board. He was an outstanding board member that we thought we were losing, and how do we replace? And some of the most important things we do is make sure our team's still together. And let me tell you, we have a new board member. This is our first convocation, so I really want to hear it, and we couldn't have a better team member to continue with our teammate, Ms. Keisha Mays. And I wanted to introduce our board because it's critical. This is a board that takes risk. If you haven't seen, we've taken risk. We're not afraid. We're not an average board. We're going to step outside the box. We're going to push staff to step outside the box. We're going to push our teachers. We're going to push everyone and say, what are we doing to give the best education possible? What's the strategic vision? And that's what we've done. You've heard us talk all about the strategic plan. And we're implementing it. We're putting these things in place. Some of them are great. Some of the pieces you may not like. I understand. And some of them are going to work perfectly, and some of them may not. We're going to try things. We're going to constantly try. And I know Dr. Cavazos will talk about trying Convocation a different way last year. That's okay. It happens. It's a good thing. We're willing to take risks. We're willing to take charges. This board has become very efficient. We've caused our staff to be more efficient. We've broken up the work, we divided up, and we focused really on efficiency. And the amount of work we've gotten done, we have to be efficient as a district. This board's implemented managed performance empowerment, which is unheard of across the state. We have numerous schools that have reached that MPE status. Let me tell you, in the state, that is unbelievable. Districts are calling us saying, how do you do this? How do you recognize it? We have the Student Group for Excellence, which is to truly integrate all of our levels to make sure everything's operating together on performance. Unbelievable from the state. We've tracked our strategic plan. This is not a plan. You can see exactly where we're trying to go online and what we're trying to do. We've been very transparent on that. And then we've taken it to a level of what do we do for staff? How do we keep working? How do we keep operating? How do we make things more efficient? How do we reduce paperwork, which I know is a headache? What are those things? We don't have all the answers yet, but we're sure working on it. We've also taken some bold steps on legislative agendas. As you know, as people in Austin like to complain about people from Washington, D.C., people at local school boards like to complain about our legislators in Austin. We're facing very difficult legislative sessions. Public education likes to be attacked. I think there's nothing better. We're taking an active, proactive role, and I encourage all of you, let your legislators know you're focused on public education. Let them know how important it is. Let them know what you're focused on. Did you know we have over $80 million a year in unfunded mandates? Yeah. These are rules that get passed down and we get no funding for. We constantly bring it up to them. We're going to constantly continue and fight. Our legislative session comes up, luckily, only every 2 years for 140 days, and it's every odd year. So we're starting to get in January, but the work's already begun for the 2015 legislative session. For finances, one of the big factors of what the board, our responsibility is. We balanced the budget yet again. We funded an entirely new elementary school out of our fund balance. This is something no other district does. Usually it's only funded from bonds. We funded an entire elementary school that will be opening next fall because we knew we had a need in East Arlington for overcrowding, and we funded that school. We have one of the highest bond ratings. We've received numerous awards for over the last decade for our financial accountability, and I must thank our finance and accounting department for all the hard work they do. We put together the strategic plan, and we've stayed focused on the strategic plan. And that's a plan. But in that plan, you've seen we've made the commitment to teachers. It's our commitment. We can build everything we want. We can put anything out there. But if we don't have the right staff in the right place, nothing else matters. If you don't have the right teacher, having that one-on-one interaction with that student, nothing else matters. If I don't have the right support staff assisting our campuses, nothing else matters. It's all about who are the people that are interacting. People say 89% of your cost is labor, and I say, good. It's the way it should be. We're in the people business. We're in the student business. We're not in the building business. We're not in the iPad business. We're in the people business. Technology enhances, but people make the difference. We've made a commitment on finances, on salaries. We have one of the highest starting salaries to make sure we recruit everyone in to the district. We've also made the commitment, you've seen us make multiple adjustments, and we're going to constantly look at it to make sure you have one of the most competitive salaries out there. We may not always be the highest, and I'll be the first to say we're probably not going to be the highest, but we're going to make sure you are right there and competitive because we know it's about our teachers and our staff. We've made the commitment to the community. We've made active community outreach. We know we can't do this alone. We know we're not an island. We know we're part of an entire village, which is the whole Arlington community. We've made very active commitments to the community to drive them in. And how do we bring in? And if you haven't heard about all the different partnerships we've been bringing on Thursday nights, just listen to a board meeting here and there, and maybe you'll catch sleep a little earlier, but at least you'll be able to listen and see what partnerships. We've made a huge commitment to community partnerships. But most importantly, we've made a commitment to students. We, at every meeting, with every vendor, at every time, make sure what are we doing and how are we talking about the students. And I encourage you to do the same. Sometimes when you get caught up in the day-to-day, you can get talking about what are we doing on finances? What are we doing on selecting the architects that are choosing this? But we always have to remember what are we doing and why are we selecting? We're selecting those things for the students. How's that going to focus on the students? That's worth an applause. I think we all know students can be very honest. We've increased our amount of student input through student surveys, student focus groups, student leader advisory board to really try and impact what the students are, because students this day and age are very sharp and they're very vocal, to say the least. But the most important thing I think we do as a board is we hire the superintendent. There's nothing more important than having the right leader in place. And I, for one, would tell you we have the right leader in place. Our leader has been married for over 14 years. He's got 2 children that are in the 6th grade and 1st grade. 6th grade and 2nd grade. Uh-oh, don't tell the 2nd grader. I called him a 1st grader. We know how that is. 6th grade and 2nd grade in this district. He's been a teacher at Mission Consolidated. He's held leadership posts at Mercedes ISD, at Mission Consolidated, in San Benito ISD. He's worked for the TEA. He has his PhD. He served as a lecturer for the UTA College of Education. He serves on community boards, such as United Way of Tarrant County, River Legacy Foundation, Arlington Chamber Board, AISD Education Foundation, and it's important he serves on those boards. He's working the partnerships within this community to get you the pieces you need. There's nothing more critical as a board than we do to make sure we have the right superintendent. So much that we even challenged him to an ice water bucket challenge for ALS. And I know it's worn out some people's Facebooks. It's been a lot on mine. But when we saw the President of the United States do it, I said, well, the superintendent can do it. And he won't do it today, but he will post it at some time for everyone to see he's taken the ice bucket challenge. I'm not looking at him because he's probably giving me stare eyes that he's not happy about that. But he is. He's a critical leader. He's important to the district. He guides us daily. He's dedicated to the students. He's dedicated to the staff. He's dedicated to the community. And he's dedicated to AISD. And with that, I couldn't be more honored to introduce your superintendent, my superintendent, the Arlington ISD superintendent, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. I haven't even said anything, so that really makes me feel good, or it raises the expectation. Let me tell you that when Bowie was talking about last year's convocation, I've got to tell you a little story. I was at Seguin. Where's Seguin High School? Yeah, there you go. Okay. I was at Seguin, and it all seemed to be going well, and I had some feedback and all that kind of stuff, but finally it was over, and I went back to central office, and I was walking into central office, and you know, from Seguin to central office, and I'm walking in, and in the boardroom were some staff, and they were looking very patiently at the screen, and I was stuck. And I said, man, that's driving from Seguin. And so I walked up and I said, it's over. Let's get back to work, right? So that's a little joke. But it was an experiment. And as Bowie said, it's fun to do that because you learn. And by the way, thank you for the emails. You were so kind. Anywhere from interventions to, you had a lot of suggestions. But probably the most interesting ones were the anonymous ones. I'm kidding, you didn't have any anonymous ones. But I am so glad to be here, and thank you so much for your commitment to our students. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference when a district this size has individuals who are committed to students. And Bowie said it best when he says that the focus across the organization is for our students. And so today we're going to demonstrate that and hope to show you how we are all collectively committed to the work that we're doing. So, if Spence is back there, here we go. Just a quick reminder of our vision and mission statement. Our vision is to be a globally acknowledged as a premier school district. And a premier school district not for the adults. It's nice for the adults, but it's for the students, to be a premier district. You know the mission of our school district? Reaching their maximum potential through relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences. That's the key. That's the driver. Our framework for success: inspired learners, effective leadership, and an engaged community. We feel that those three things are critical to our success, that if we're missing one of them, we cannot be successful. So under inspired learners are our teachers, effective classroom instruction. So I'm going to take a moment to ask, if you're new to AISD as a teacher or any other capacity, would you please stand? If you're new to AISD. Thank you so much. If somebody is new and they were not here, please help them. They don't know where to go. But seriously, all of these individuals who stood up will need your support, those of you who have been here, because we know that in order for us to continue the progress, we have to help each other. And so that's our framework for success. I think it's important to remind all of us, myself included, who we serve in our district. And we serve close to 64,000 students, and that's taken as a snapshot, so our enrollment will go up and then it'll come down. About 64,000 students that we serve in our school district. That's the ethnic breakdown. And economically disadvantaged, about 70% of our students are economically disadvantaged. 70% of our students are economically disadvantaged. And I'll tell you that serving all students, serving them well, will change our community. Serving the 70% economically disadvantaged exceptionally well changes the world. In our 70% economically disadvantaged, we keep the same standards, the same level of rigor, the expectations, the opportunities for all students. But it's important to know that some of our students, 70% of them, are from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. And the more we do in our district to serve 70% exceptionally well, the better the world. And I'll tell you that when we look at these statistics and these numbers, I asked the principals when we had our leadership training this summer, and assistant principals, all our administrators, we framed it as, what are the opportunities when we serve 70% economically disadvantaged? What are those opportunities? And we went through this exercise where the principals and the administrators wrote down and shared what the opportunity was in our district when we serve 70% economically disadvantaged. And the opportunity to serve them and all our students is to change lives. To change lives. The opportunity to do it in a district this size and do it well transforms public education. And the collective commitment to serve all our students is critical for our success. But more importantly, it's critical for their success. And so a lot of the opportunities that the principals and administrators discussed that day started with them. I have the opportunity to serve and change a life. And so I challenge you this year, as we go forward, because those numbers will continue to increase, that you look for the opportunities to change the equation in somebody's life. Not just the economically disadvantaged, in all students. So where are we now? Don't say UTA. Because you would be right, but that's not the transition here. So where are we now? Our performance, and we're going to go over our performance briefly here. Keep going. This is how we performed as a school district. And you're familiar with the 4 indexes and all that kind of stuff. We met the expectation and met the standard on all 4 indexes for our school district. And our school district is all of us. Index 1 looks at student performance across all subjects and all student groups. The district and all campuses, except Newcomer, and Newcomer is an alternative school. They have their own accountability system. But all campuses in the district met Index 1. That's huge for a district our size, and I thank you for that. Index 2, student progress, looks at scores across 10 different student groups. And this is the progress that our students are making. And I'll tell you that the accountability system is much more comprehensive. It's not easier to understand, but it's much more comprehensive and measures from all angles our student performance. And so student progress is critical because that indicates whether students are making progress to meeting higher standards. And in our district, the entire district and all campuses met Index 2. And that's a credit to your work. That is a credit to your work. Index 3, closing the gap, the performance gap between economically disadvantaged and other student groups. The district met the standard, and all campuses except Newcomer and Wimbish met that standard. You can applaud. Finally, Index 4, post-secondary readiness. All campuses in the district except Sam Houston and Webb met this standard. So congratulations on all the work that was done. And I'll tell you that if there was a campus up here and it said all except this one or that one, our job and our commitment is as a team. We don't shun schools, we don't punish them and all that kind of stuff. That's not the environment we live in. We support. And so these schools are performing, all of them are performing. If you saw an accept this one or accept that one, there's nothing in terms of those schools to be ashamed of or anything like that. And I'm very transparent, and I'll just tell you, and I've had conversation with the staff and principals of those schools. We work as a team. Because the success of Arlington ISD and the success in those indexes translates to the success of students. We can look at numbers all day, but it's about the students and their success. That's what this is about. So I congratulate all campuses for their efforts this school year. So when we look at the Accountability Performance Index targets, I thought this would be an important slide. There's a lot on the accountability system, but we can boil it down like this. The top line is the state standard for us to meet the standard. In other words, for us to make it over the line, it's 55 Index 1, 16 Index 2, 28 Index 3, and 57 Index 4. In our district, you see the results. It's in green down at the bottom. And so there's distance between, and that's what you want. You want a big distance between the standard and our performance. And so I think it's important to keep things in perspective that our district is strong in serving students. We have to continue the improvement. But our district is strong when it comes against the state standards. So I think that's important for you to know. Also, as we keep moving, we had distinctions. Distinctions are basically campuses compared to campuses like them across the state. So it's a very rigorous comparison. It's not campuses among each other in the district. It's among campuses throughout the state like those schools. Very rigorous. I really like this part of the accountability because it really gives you a sense of similar campuses across the state and the performance. So 34 out of 69 campuses eligible to receive distinctions received at least one distinction, which is outstanding. It's almost half of our schools received distinction. So you see the list of schools there. that received a distinction. And we're very proud of all our schools, but I think it's important when we talk about performance that we also show when individuals or campuses go above and beyond in their comparison group. 2 schools received all of their distinctions: Ferguson and Ashworth Elementary. And so they are leading the way, not just in AISD, but throughout the state, because these are comparing campuses like them. Very proud of those 2 schools. 12 schools received at least half or more of the distinctions. Seguin High School, 5 out of 6 distinctions. Outstanding. Our junior highs, Bailey Junior High, 6 out of 7. Gunn Junior High, 6 out of 7. Hutchison, 4 out of 7. And Shackelford, 5 out of 7, Shackelford. Our elementary schools, Beebensee, 3 out of 6. Beckham, 3 out of 6. Ditto, 5 out of 6. Duff, 3 out of 6. Piercy, 5 out of 6. Swift Elementary, 3 out of 6. And Williams Elementary, 3 out of 6. Congratulations to those schools. This is a very rigorous way of looking at accountability across the state. Very proud of them. Our district scorecard, because as Bowie mentioned, we care about the accountability system, but we also care about many other things in our strategic plan. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but I do want you to just kind of get a sense of our performance as a district. And we look at 4 things: student achievement, people, service, and finance. And we've reduced it down to a green, a red, or a yellow dot. It's management by dots. I'm kidding. But this doesn't tell the whole story, but it tells a part of the story. And so in some cases we have green dots, in some cases we have yellow, and in some cases we have red. But it's important to note that as we progress in our district, we're looking at things way beyond the accountability system. As comprehensive as it is, as comprehensive as our accountability system is, we have other measures. And that's through the guidance and leadership of our board. We have a 14-15 scorecard that we're going to talk to the board about tomorrow night, with new targets and new expectations, making sure that our work from the district to the campus is aligned and is clear. And I'll tell you, we have a challenge with that. We're working on it, but we have a challenge. I'm not concerned when we speak about our areas where we have to improve. And we have to improve on the clarity and the alignment of our expectations at all campuses, from central down to the campuses. And that's part of this work, is to make sure that we're aligned and we're clear with our expectations. All right, so what guides our work? I'll tell you that I'm summarizing here what guides our work every single day, and that is access, excellence, and innovation. Access is making learning opportunities available to all students. And we're going to show how that access works in our district. Excellence, to go well beyond our minimum standards. And then innovation, designing new and unique opportunities for our students. It is important for our students and for us to be focused on providing access and excellence for our students. So, how do we accomplish this? How do we provide that access, excellence, and innovation for our students? And I'm going to share some examples. There are many examples, and I don't mean to leave anybody out or any example out, but these are some examples of how we provide access, excellence, and innovation in our school district. We announced this year our Bound for Success, where the top 20% of all students in AISD receive automatic admissions to the University of Texas at Arlington. Automatic admissions. And so when you think about the top 20%, that's a huge band of students that access becomes instant their junior year, not their senior year, the beginning of their junior year. If they're in the top 20%, they get a letter from UTA saying you're admitted. What does that do for a student? It reduces the barriers and the obstacles, the access to higher education. And then UTA has committed to sending counselors and financial advisors to each of our high schools to keep this cohort motivated and engaged, because we learned from our surveys that some of our high-performing students were not even applying to go to college. This reduces the barrier, changes the equation for all students that are in the top 20%. And I'll tell you that the reason that UTA has the confidence in our curriculum and our students is because of the work you do every single day. It's not a hard sell. When I visit with Dr. Kabari and say the top 20% of our students should get automatic admission. And it's not a hard sell because of the work you do every single day, K-12. And the confidence that this community has with the work that you do for our students. So Bond for Success was something we announced this year. We have a STEM Academy that just 2 weeks ago we announced, partnership with UTA. The STEM Academy will be at Martin High School. And the STEM Academy does, and I appreciate the work. And I'll tell you that the STEM Academy provides students dual credit opportunities. We have a lot of students that do dual credit, but it's mostly in the liberal arts. Nothing wrong with that. But it's English, sociology, psychology, government, US history. Many, many students. UTA is stepping up to provide dual credit in the math and the sciences so that students have access when they come in. And so we're very proud of our STEM Academy that's beginning next semester. AISD Police Academy, a partnership with the City of Arlington, the PD, and UTA and our district. A pipeline for police officers. And I'll tell you that police officers in Arlington, you know this, may or may not know this, they have to have a college degree to be a police officer in Arlington. That's the standard. And so, that's right. And so the way we make that possible is to create that pathway, that pipeline, so that our students can start taking criminal justice courses while in high school. And we have our first police academy group of students starting this year in Arlington ISD. Texas Health Resources, or Arlington Memorial Partnership. Arlington Memorial has committed to providing space for our students to do their coursework in the hospital and have access to clinicals at Arlington Memorial. And if you're not familiar with hospitals, the space in a hospital is a premium. They're not giving it away. But they partner with us, again, because of the confidence they have in AISD, the work you do, and our students. So our students will be housed there in the hospital in a space. And they'll be able to take clinicals and do their instruction and things like that at the hospital in the context where someday they may be employed. And it's a win for us and for Arlington Memorial because they understand that the future of our community is in our schools. They're in our school system. Fuel Up to Play 60 and Healthy Zone Schools, a partnership with United Way, Dairy Max, and the Dallas Cowboys. I try not to mention the Dallas Cowboys in public, but I do, okay? So I'll just go kind of quickly on that one. But they partnered with us to make sure that every campus has a healthy initiative because we know that healthy students learn much better. And so this is a huge partnership that we're developing with the Dallas Cowboys. Elementary and junior high attendance initiative, on time for school, for elementary and junior high students. Not for high school. We have a whole bunch of interventions for attendance in high school. This is looking at elementary and junior high students who are beginning to have problems with attendance. We intervene early. And that's the Tarrant County and SMU partnered with us on this. And what SMU is doing for us, and in this partnership, SMU is making kind of the research behind it. Do these interventions work? How novel, right? We're actually going to measure whether the interventions work. SMU and Tarrant County, huge partners in this. This is not a downer for those of you who are K1 and 2. But I thought it would be important that we talk a little bit about standards-based report cards. And I know I'm getting email now, I bet you. But our standards-based report card, K1 and 2, making sure that students and parents know exactly where their children are in terms of performance and what standards. And if you look at that report card, I think that's a second grade report card. So that an 80 or an 85 is much more meaningful because you understand every standard. This is a work in progress, but it is something that is driving our K-1-2 instruction. Student voice, Bowie mentioned this earlier. We provided students with a voice, 6th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, and 12th graders. Over 15,000 students filled out surveys. And what I'll tell you about the providing of students with voice, if you remember a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, and we're still doing it, we provided employees a voice in your employee engagement surveys across the district. And the first time we did that, and as we continue to do it, you speak loudly to us over and over, right? It's our way of trying to improve. Well, it's the students' turn. We gave our employees a voice, thousands of you, all across the district. Now our students, 15,000 surveys that they took. And so these students now have a voice. When students have a voice and ownership and give us feedback, there's two things that happen. One, they feel like their voice and their opinion matters. But the other thing that happens that's very powerful is that we receive feedback and we are the ones that are affecting that feedback. So how we receive that feedback is critical. How we receive the feedback. We can complain about the survey results, or we can take them as an opportunity to improve. We take them as an opportunity to improve. Here's some of the things that they said. Students felt comfortable asking questions in classes across the district. These are some of our highlights. All of this is posted online, by the way, not by campus yet, but by the district. Notable increases in students reporting opportunities to use technology in the classroom. I hope that wasn't their phone, but they reported much more opportunities to use technology in the classroom. School safety results were above the midpoint and even higher regarding staff respect. And I'll tell you that the safety and the respect that staff has for students is one of our high points, especially the respect that staff has for students. Overwhelmingly, students were answering the question that you as teachers and administrators, but mostly teachers, respect them. And that is powerful. That's part of our culture, and I appreciate that so much. Schools are supportive environments. More students reported working with counselors and participating in college and career activities. And then there was a modest improvement in facilities. This was before the bond, so we'll see that those metrics change, right? All right. Remember, this is still the theme about access, excellence, and innovation. This is how we're doing that. Our board has presented statewide and sometimes out of the state in what we're doing. Our board is taking that leadership, being that model of representing AISD. And so that's one of the sessions we were presenting. We're all looking at Bowie. I'm not sure what we're thinking, but we're looking at Bowie. I'm sure he's saying something that is just capturing all our attention. But we're presenting across the state, and this is why. We don't have all the answers, but we have some of them. And when we have some of the answers for public education, we're going to share it. So I commend the board, and the board also has been selected as one of 5 honor boards for the entire state of Texas. So congratulations to our board. There are about 1,200 school districts in Texas. That means there's about 1,200 school boards. Think about that for a minute. Just kidding. There's about 1,200 school boards. And out of those 1,200, five were selected to represent the entire state. And we have one of them right here. This is such an important thing because it demonstrates in our school district that the leadership and the commitment is across the board, from the board to the classroom. So we appreciate it. We're opening our Arlington Collegiate High School at TCC Southeast this year on Monday. And you know this is where a student can take and receive an associate's degree and a high school diploma upon graduating from high school. So Arlington Collegiate High School, and this is a great opportunity for students, access, excellence, and innovation. And so these are the students, you can see their picture, with Dr. Ben Boland. Where are you, Ben? I hope you're here. There he is, over there. Okay, and his staff. Notice they hardly made any noise because they don't have a lot of staff, because a lot of this partnership, most of it is with TCC. And so TCC has built the building, $13 million investment in AISDs for AISD students from TCC. They built the building, a model nowhere else in the state. And we appreciate that. And our students, in an overwhelming way, those 125 students, the first cohort, they represent 38 elementary schools across the district. 38. They represent all junior high schools. So they're all over our AISD, coming from all over our AISD. And this, along with the other opportunities we announced, this is a game changer for the lives of students and our lives and our future as well. And so they're ready to start on Monday. And they'll be showing up there in a new building. They'll be taking 3 college courses their freshman year. Art appreciation, PE, and there's another one. Right, Ben? Speech, thank you. How could I forget that? Speech, art appreciation, and PE at the college level, which is an outstanding opportunity. They're giving up their high school experience for a collegiate experience. And again, this isn't for everyone, but it is for a population of our students. So we're very proud of them. Texas Trust Credit Union, has committed that for every student in the first cohort, which are 125, committed that every student in the first cohort will receive, upon graduating from this program, will receive a $1,000 scholarship. Over a $125,000 commitment. But more important than the $1,000, because we know $1,000 is just a small amount in terms of scholarship, is that Texas Trust has committed to providing financial literacy to the parents, the students, how you apply for scholarships, how you save money, by demonstrating that here's your first $1,000 and here's how you make it grow, here's how you spend it, here's how you invest it and things like that. They have stepped up, as so many of our community partners, because they trust the work you do every single day. That's why we're able to do this. And sometimes people ask me, well, are these like hard sells? What are you committing to? I just say we have the very best. We have the very best instruction, the very best students, and we have 64,000 of them. And they step up. So I'm very proud of their commitment to us.
Please help me welcome board member Keisha Mays to the stage. She will share one family's experiences with opportunities available in our district.
Wow. Good morning, everybody. This is exciting. And if I can go off script for just 1 second, I've been sitting here thinking about this evening when I get off of work and I go home and I'm sitting down at the dinner table, I can look all three of my boys in the eye and honestly say, I saw every single one of your teachers today. Shout out. So once again, just looking at everybody, y'all look great. Please give yourselves a round of applause and thank you, thank you. I am very honored to be here this morning to help share the story of the Martinez family. Olga Martinez learned about the GED program while she was attending ESL classes right here in this district. Her children will attend Johns Elementary, Bailey Junior High, and wait for it, the Arlington Collegiate High School at TCC Southeast Campus. That's a mouthful. So please join me in watching this video, and then you will hear from Olga's son, Hugo. Thank you.
Las oportunidades han sido varias y han sido muy buenas, principalmente cuando los maestros de nuestros hijos se preocupan por sus alumnos y se preocupan por mantenerlos arriba, o sea, avanzados según las necesidades de ellos. Eso es muy bueno y es algo que nos ha ayudado bastante. Muy buena, es algo difícil porque es complicado cuando ya tenemos una familia, pero si nos mantenemos enfocados, pues podemos sacarlo adelante y esa es mi meta. Voy un poco lento, es algo desesperante, pero espero lograrlo. Primero, por una meta personal. Es algo que quiero lograr por mí misma y lo siguiente para darles un ejemplo a mis hijos y bueno, ellos van avanzando y yo no me quiero quedar atrás. Es buena, es algo que me mantiene ocupada y me mantiene orgullosa de mí misma. Porque sabemos que es una excelente oportunidad y queremos que él aproveche y sabíamos que era para él porque él desde muy chico ha mostrado interés y sabemos que puede con eso y queríamos que él aprovechara. Que le echen ganas, que busquen información. Esa es la clave para, si queremos que nuestros hijos triunfen, debemos buscar información para conseguir las oportunidades para ellos, porque hay muchas, pero si no sabemos, pues no las aprovechamos. Primero les diría que muchísimas gracias. Muchos de ellos nos han ayudado bastante y gracias a ellos estamos aquí en parte. Entonces es muy importante la participación de los maestros, que los mantengan motivados y ocupados, porque cuando es un ritmo, cuando es una rutina, ellos empiezan a desinteresarse, entonces necesitan mucha más información y más trabajo. Entonces es muy importante tener buenos maestros que cumplan con su deber y un poco más.
Help me in welcoming Hugo to the stage here. How are you this morning, Hugo?
I'm good.
Good. Good. You're not nervous or anything,
I'm a little nervous, but not much.
but you're fine. Good. So, Hugo, tell me a little bit about your experience in our school district.
It's been good. As previously stated, if you search for the opportunities, you will find some.
That's right. And you attended John's?
Yes.
Is John's here? They're back there. And Bailey,
Yes.
is that right? All right, they're over there. So, Hugo, tell me about how you heard about this opportunity for collegiate high school, and then what went through your mind?
Well, they started to talk about it at the end of last year. So I thought it was going to be a good opportunity. I like searching for opportunities. I like to have a head start. So I kept hearing more and more. It took a while to process the information, but after I finished the application, I did what had to be done.
Yes. You always do what has to be done, Hugo?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because there's about 5,000 people expecting you to say yes, right, Hugo? So, so you applied, right? And what happened after that?
I had to wait a little while, and then I got an interview.
You got an interview. You were also highlighted in the newspaper, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes? Did you? Did you, it was La Estrella, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so did you buy a whole bunch of newspapers, Hugo?
I bought a few.
A few. Maybe a few hundred. But that's good. And so you were highlighted in that, and you went through your interview. Did you feel nervous in the interview?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So then you waited, and what happened?
I got accepted, but I kind of got the feeling that I sort of had.
You kind of had a feeling you were going to be accepted.
Yes.
Yes. You get those kind of feelings all the time?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And so, so you were sitting in class, and then they called you where?
They called me to the counselors.
Yes. You thought you were in trouble?
No.
No. Because you don't get in trouble.
No.
That was a no.
Yeah, that was a no.
Okay. So you got called to the counselor office, and what did they tell you?
They first gave us a card to give to our parents.
Yes.
So after that, they told us we got accepted.
Absolutely. And so, Hugo, so you're going to, how old are you?
I'm 14.
14 years old. And you're going to start Monday,
Yes.
right? And you're going to start with 3 college courses. Tell me how that feels starting college as a 14-year-old.
When I started thinking about it, it sort of feel different, but because it's not something that happens every day.
That's correct.
But I got used to it, and I feel good.
You do. So, that's good. So, Hugo, you're ready for this challenge,
Yes,
right?
I'm ready.
You're committing in front of 5,000 people. I'm kidding. You're ready for this challenge. And so, do you realize that when you applied, we didn't even have a building?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we left that out. But the building's done, right? You've been there because you had an orientation, right? And so you're going to start taking college courses. Tell me what that means for your future.
It means I have a 2 years advantage.
That's right.
So
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start earlier
That's right. And so you're going to enter college as a what?
as a junior.
You know what a junior is?
3 years.
Third year, that's
Third
right.
year.
As a junior, you're going to enter college when you graduate from high school. So, Hugo, what do you want to pursue? When you get out of college and then you go into, when you get out of high school with an associate's, and then what career do you want to pursue? Superintendent?
That's not one of my biggest interests.
That's not one of your biggest interests? I was hoping it was, but I find that everywhere I go. Very little interest. Go ahead, Hugo. So tell me, what do you want to pursue?
I've been interested in astronomy ever since I was young.
Yes? Like younger than 14?
Yes.
Okay. So how young?
Well, I started getting interested in planets maybe around kindergarten.
Yes.
I got interested in the solar system. In fact, in all the stories I used to write, I usually put the solar system on top of the
Really?
sky.
With Pluto?
Yes.
Pluto, okay. All right, so all of them. Perfect,
Yes.
yeah. So tell me more about your career that you want to pursue.
I eventually realized that in astronomy, there's more to it than just the solar system. I like studying. It just comes naturally.
It comes naturally to you?
Yes.
Yes. For all of us here, too. Pretty naturally. Well, so is your family proud?
Yes.
Yes, they are. And are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, very proud of yourself. So, Hugo, we as a school district are very proud of you.
Thank you.
And so, Hugo, when you go through this program and all that happens in your life, you know, I wish you the very best. And I have no doubt that Hugo is going to change the world. Right?
Yes. Thanks.
Hugo, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank Hugo. Appreciate it, Hugo. All right, let's thank Hugo one more time.
Oh, God.
By the way, his whole family is right here in the front row. Entire family. All right, we're going to continue as we go through this. Spence, we're ready? All right. So as part of this process, and this year, we're going to implement our instructional model. And our instructional model has certain parts to it. It's very kind of simple but complex in terms of what it can do. Where am I going? Where am I now? And how can I close the gap? This is the framework for our instructional model that'll be implemented throughout the district. We're going to start with some pilot sites, but it'll be implemented throughout the district, and this is going to be a foundation for every classroom in our district. That's coming up. PBIS, there was one applause. All right, so there's a little bit more. And that applause was Michael Hill. But it's okay. Good work. So basically, PBIS is ensuring that our discipline, we know, is tied to academic outcomes. Behavior is tied to academics. It's a framework. Many of you have already started that work. We're going to continue this school year to have a framework in our school system of what we expect in terms of student behavior and their outcomes. K-12 on track to graduate. All of our students, K-12, we know if they're on track to graduate. This is a local way of understanding the performance of our students. This system doesn't exist in public education. This is something that AISD created, and we're still refining it, but the bottom line is when you talk about access and excellence and innovation for students, we have to make sure that they are prepared. And K-12 on track to graduate is a system that we have to help us understand if students are making progress. It's not a deficiency model. It's actually an improvement model. Part of our Arlington Collegiate Academy, or high school, I should say, is a family center. Families will have access to training, transportation, job skill development, etc. In a family center, it's a partnership with United Way. So that when we help the student receive their associate's degree and things like that, we're helping the entire family because they're coming from all over our district. And when you start helping the entire family, as we do in many campuses, it starts to change the community. So United Way has partnered with us on that. Parent University, you can give United Way a round of applause. Parent University, providing access and excellence for our parents so they can come learn and understand how to better help their children. That picture in particular are parents who, for the first time, are accessing the parent self-serve. And they're accessing their students' grades and attendance for the first time. And that is huge. And I'll tell you that kids hate when we talk about this, right? That their parents can access the grades and the attendance at any time. They can get alerts when the homework isn't done, like I get alerts sometimes. Where's Key, by the way? There, right. Yes, I get some alerts, not a lot, but parents can get alerts to help their kids be successful. And so we know that this empowers parents, empowers them to help their kids be successful. Before I get off of parent self-serve, I have to tell you that the only way that parent self-serve works is your commitment that you have made and you continue to make to input the grades and the attendance every day. So thank you for your commitment for doing that, providing that access for our parents. Bowie talked about financial excellence, consistently rated high in terms of our finances. We have an emerging leaders program in AISD, developing a pipeline for administrators, assistant principals, and principals. Raise Your Hand Texas, and you can see the little logo there at the bottom. Raise Your Hand Texas is a nonprofit that helps public education, but they don't help just any school. They help those where the board is united, where things are moving in the right direction. That's the districts that they help. And you know they send principals and others to training and conferences. They partnered with us for this Emerging Leaders Program, and they're investing $1.3 million in AISD because of the work that we've done collectively. That doesn't come easy. So Raise Your Hand Texas is another great partner. If you're part of the Emerging Leaders Program, would you stand? Very well done. Very well done. We appreciate your commitment, and it is a commitment. It's like doing the whole coursework and all that stuff, but it's a partnership that we're able to provide our employees. All right, a couple more highlights, and I'm not going to go through all this, but this is year 3. We're going to have a data warehouse that helps us process data a lot easier and more efficiently. We're going to continue our surveys related to training. We're going to develop a wellness plan. We're going to have focus groups with principals and employees. Beyond the employee engagement survey, we're going to have focus groups with you so you can continue to give us that feedback so we can continue to improve in our school district. I have to put in a plug for this part of our website. This part of our website indicates everything we're doing with our strategic plan. I encourage you to visit this site often because the presentations about the student surveys and all our employee engagement surveys and things like that, this is where we post them. Everything related to our strategic plan. All right.
Colleagues, at this time, please welcome board members Peter Barron and Gloria Pena to the stage to share an example of independent learning.
Hello, folks. Well, Peter and I are honored to be here today to introduce a video of some independent project-based learning for some computer science students at Martin High School. Well, Peter and I not only are honored to do this, we also had the opportunity to actually go to Martin High School and observe these students working on several projects. The video that you're about to see is based on a project they took to help some students at Little Elementary. So this is only one aspect of that program that's there. They had another program that was called GLASS, in which they put some glasses on Dr. Cavazos and had him do some virtual looking at items. These students did that, and they also created a program where, you know, when you're teaching a class and there are computers in front of kids, sometimes you can't get them off the computer. And so they designed a computer program that the instructor could say, "Computers off," and the computers were dead. Pretty smart. I'm very proud of these students, and very proud that Peter and I had the opportunity to actually go see it. It is all of awesomeness.
Before we go there, do you know the difference between astronomy and astrology?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
No.
Math. Lots and lots of math. Where are my math teachers? The foundation of computer science is mathematics. What you're going to see in this video is computer science at its finest, and we all have smartphones, and we all have apps. This is about an app. Thank you.
My name's Gabe Kenworthy, and I'm going to the University of Utah.
And I'm Jake Leland, and I'm going to Texas A&M University.
Hi, I'm Jack Brown, and I'll be attending University of Oklahoma in 2014.
And I'm Matthew Baker, and I'll be attending the University of Texas at Arlington this fall.
In the fall semester of 2013, we began working on developing Android apps, and so we decided to start developing one for our own high school.
And what we decided to do was, the second semester, figure out a way we could kind of give back to the school district, so we worked on an app for the 6th grade students at Little Elementary that was math-based.
We talked with one of the teachers at Little Elementary School, Mrs. Sledge, a math instructor of the 6th graders, and we decided to build an app that would help them develop their math skills in a fun way.
To work on that, what we decided to do was take the idea of a simple side-scrolling game similar to Mario, but make it with math games integrated. So there were mini games as we were progressing through and opening doors and such.
In addition to going to the school and talking to the kids about what they liked best and worst about school and about math class specifically, and what sort of games they played, we also looked at a bunch of classic math games, such as Math Blaster or Number Munchers, and games like those that were both fun and educational at the same time. We learned that the math then should be a way to make the game fun instead of being in the way of making the game fun.
So what we wound up doing is making a game that focused more on what they struggled with in math, like percentages and decimals. The storyline behind this is a princess is trapped in a castle, and she's waiting for a prince to come rescue her, but the prince never comes, so she decides to escape. And this is kind of the intro into what the game is about to be.
Yeah, we didn't just go into this alone. We asked other students and former students to kind of help us out in the areas that they were good at. So yeah, that's how we have the artwork here by Allison Chin. And also the music behind the game was a former student named J.C. Peterson. It turned out really well.
So what we've got here is a level with, it's tile-based. You've got left and right arrows, a pause button here, and you can tap the screen like Jack did there to jump and get over obstacles like that crate. Those two people you see there are a guard and a prisoner, which we haven't quite integrated yet.
That'll be part of the animation that begins to build the storyline. Part of how we're going to integrate the math with the actual platforming game is with mini games that will block certain doors.
So for example, if you needed to get into this door, before you could actually get in, you'd have to play a mini game, which if you press enter door, it's going to start a mini game. Basically, you have to beat the mini game in order to get through the door and get the power up.
How the math takes part in this game is that once you enter this room, you'll see that prisoner from the previous screen entering, and he's going to run up, and before the princess can really catch up to him, he's going to be stopped by a math wizard who's going to explain that he's, one, completely crazy, and two, has captured all these people not because he wants to lock them up forever, just because they're bad at math.
Along with these mini games, we built in an option for quick play for those students that may not want to get too into the story mode or may want to practice the mini games ahead of time. They can just go straight to one of the games and play those. And so I'll start off with 2048. The goal is to combine the like tiles, and they may or may not be both fractions or both decimals. So in this case, 0.4 and 1/5 are two different values, so they won't combine. But when there's another 1/5 tile, it can be combined with a like tile. And this game can easily be changed. We programmed it to where the starting values can be changed to be different fractions or different decimals, so it's not always like 1/5 or 2/5.
This is the game I worked on, and it is a ratio-based game where you unveil the picture. In this question, it says, in a science class, the ratio of girls to boys is 5 to 8. If there are 15 girls, how many boys are there? And in this case, the answer would be 24. And you see that the question just moves and stuff, and then you're given another question. If you answer it wrong, it lights up red, and if you keep doing that, you end the game. And
it was an interesting year for us. It was a lot of fun because this class, unlike the 3 previous years of computer science that we had, it was more of an independent study-based class.
This project kind of just proves that with a passion to create things and learn on your own, you can do things pretty well.
The advice I'd have to anyone pursuing like a independent study kind of project like this is, first of all, be very organized. We were four students spread across 2 class periods. We kept all our stuff organized in Google Drive, so we shared documents, and we had one master document that we updated every day with everything we did. And the other thing I would say is be very disciplined, because we didn't have deadlines or due dates or anything. We had to basically choose when we had to get stuff done. And so even though our app is not exactly a finished product, it's pretty good. So we kind of had to choose when we needed to get certain stuff finished by so we could have at least a presentable product.
I knew that they were motivated, I knew they had the knowledge, and I knew they had the passion to learn. And so my goal was just to take those things and point them in the right direction. And quite honestly, not know what the outcome was going to look like. And that was a challenge as a teacher to say, hey, let's try this, and maybe it works, and maybe it doesn't. And what I found is that the students went above and beyond what I ever could have hoped for. And not only that, what made me happy as a teacher is that even when school is over, they still wanted to go and work on the project, and that makes me happy.
What a great example of independent learning in our district. Give a big round of applause to these amazing students, Mr. Aaron Cato from Martin High School. This past May, our community passed the largest bond election in Tarrant County history that will be transformative for the district. Please welcome back to the stage Dr. Marcelo Cavazos.
Aaron, did we get a good picture of you? Where are you? The teacher at Martin High School. There he is. Well done. Very well done. He looked a little nervous in that video. And if you know him, he's not really nervous, right? So thank you and well done. That's just a representation of many, many teachers. As Bowie mentioned earlier, our bond program that was passed by our community, I think it's important to note that 70%, it passed by 70% of the vote for our bond. And a large part of that reason is because our community trusts the work that we're doing every single day and the work that you're doing every single day for our students. So I thought it would be fitting that we go through some of the highlights of the bond. And we did hundreds of bond presentations, and you probably heard them. But maybe you weren't kind of listening until if it passes. Well, it passed, so now here's what's going to happen in terms of our bond. It's a 5-year bond, so all of this completed within 5 years. Very aggressive, but within 5 years, transforming AISD in terms of facilities, still with the theme of access, excellence, and innovation. So I thought it would be fitting that our Chief Financial Officer takes care of the money, give us a presentation about what's coming with the bond. And when I told Cindy, maybe you can give the bond presentation, she got very quiet. And then she said, sure, which in my world means probably not, okay? But then she kind of got engaged in and all that, and so Cindy Powell is going to take us through what's coming with the bond. Cindy.
Good morning. I think the reaction was something more along the lines of, what have you been smoking? But, you know, I'm very used to giving presentations at board meetings. But this is different. And I thought this deserved something with a little more pizzazz, so I invited some friends to help me today. So if you would, please help me welcome the Bowie High School Volunteer Drumline. Awesome. Thank you. And if this works out well, I'm going to start bringing them to board meetings and they can help me with budget presentations. We'll liven things up. All right. Well, you all know the first part of the story very well. On May 10th, the Arlington citizens voted and overwhelmingly passed a $663 million bond proposition. This is the largest bond package passed by any entity in Tarrant County ever. And this bond package will help provide us with access to more learning opportunities, excellence in specialized instruction, and innovative learning spaces, and all of this will help us become that premier district that we've committed to be. Now, so our story has begun, our journey has begun, and over the next 5 years, we'll use these bond proceeds to help us transform this district and Arlington, Texas. So to recap very quickly about what is in the bond package, there's a Career Tech Center where students from all over the district will come to learn skilled trades and study advanced technical courses, including engineering, computer science, and health services. And they'll do this in innovative spaces that give these kids real-world career opportunities and experiences. We'll build a fine arts center. Again, kids from all over the district will come to this fine arts center. Our art kids will display their work in an art gallery. How unique. And our bands, choirs, orchestras, and theater kids, and our drum lines will perform in a professional caliber performance venue. See, I knew they'd help. All right. And every high school will have a multi-purpose activity center, indoor practice and training facilities that will be shared by our athletics and our fine arts departments, so that whether it's 110 degrees outside or 35 and raining, our kids can continue their work and continue their learning. And we'll build an athletics complex where our student athletes will compete in swimming, diving, wrestling, and gymnastics on their home turf, something that our swimmers and our gymnasts have never been able to do because we didn't have the facilities for this. We'll build 2 elementary schools, and we'll convert Corey and Rockmore into dual language fine arts academies. Schools of choice, offering specialized instruction for elementary kids across our city. And by the time we've finished with this bond package, every one of our elementary schools will have 2 science labs, a strings room, and a security entrance. And at our junior high schools will each get a track and football field lighting. And at our high schools, we'll upgrade our fine arts spaces, and in some cases, we'll add classrooms. All of these things designed to improve the learning environment and the teaching environment. So, with the technology funds that are in the bond package, we'll upgrade and replace existing equipment as it reaches the end of its life. We'll dramatically increase the use of mobile devices throughout our classrooms, all grade levels throughout the district, and every classroom will receive a standard technology package that includes the screen, the projector, the teacher workstation, and document cameras. We talked about our Fine Arts Center. There's also almost $10 million in this bond package to buy instruments for band and orchestra kids. So we can provide an instrument to every student who wants to participate, and so that no parent ever has to tell their child, I'm sorry, you can't be in band or orchestra because we can't afford the instrument. That's increasing access for our kids. And so you know this part of the story. Now then, our journey continues, and tomorrow night, our board will consider appointing 12 architecture firms to design the projects that are in the first 2 phases of the bond program. And very shortly after that, we'll begin hiring the contractors for these projects. And this fall, we will engage stakeholders and take input. Stakeholders from teachers, parents, administrators, community organizations, and most importantly, our kids. Input on the programs we'll offer in these new and renovated spaces, and input on what these facilities need to do for us as we work to meet the needs of all of our kids. And we'll all work together on the processes and procedures to transition to these new facilities. From boundaries to student transfer processes, application processes, we will do this together. And you heard Dr. Cavazos talk about who we serve and what guides our work. The who we serve nearly 64,000 students from very diverse backgrounds. And 70% of these kids are economically disadvantaged. Almost 25% of them are English language learners. This is who we are. This is Arlington ISD, and this is Arlington, Texas. What guides our work? Access, excellence, and innovation. These are 3 qualities that, if applied consistently and appropriately, will have a dramatic impact on those kids we serve. Whether it's access to an elementary school science lab, or an iPad, or a trumpet, or whether it's excellence in the specialized instruction that we give our kids at a dual language fine arts academy, or innovation at a career tech center, a fine arts center, or an athletics complex. All of these things are embodied within this bond program, and all of these things have the power to change lives, so that we give our kids, whether they're on the Bowie drumline or all 64,000 of our kids, what they need to be successful in the college or the career of their choosing. So, thank you for what you all do for our kids every day. By the time we gather here this time next year, many of these projects will be well underway. I invite you to join us on this journey. Please pardon our dust. This will be messy, but it is transformative, and it will truly impact the lives of our kids forever. Thank you for what you do, and I hope you have a great year.
Thank you, Ms. Powell, for that inspiring message about all the tremendous opportunities with the 2014 bond program. At this time, I would like to introduce Board Vice President Jamie Sullins and Board Assistant Secretary John Hibbs.
Hello, hello. We've talked about this bond so much, but John and I want to take a moment to thank you. We know that all along the way that you were there either filling out surveys, coming to us, and it was time that AISD needed investment in what your schools need, what your students need, and we are very proud to come up with a solid bond and also to have it so rigorously reviewed by all of you, and that's very meaningful and helpful to us, so I want to thank you for that. And I want to commit to you, on behalf of the entire board, that as we go through these next 5 years, we are going to be keeping our eye on the ball to make sure that we do everything we can so that your workplace and your environment is the very best. And in doing so, we're so pleased to have the Chief Financial Officer, Cindy, and also Tony Drollinger here with us today, because these two have done an amazing amount of work to make sure this bond is executed absolutely professionally. So thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of the last year, there has been hundreds upon hundreds of hours that was put into the execution of getting this bond passed over the course of last year. One group that hasn't been recognized, and that's our facilities management team headed by Bob Carlisle. His work on this has been absolutely tremendous, and our finance team, our board, and the central administration, absolutely, I can tell you, you've got a good group that's standing behind you. This bond is going to revolutionize our district. It's going to give you the resources and the tools, and it's going to be a driving factor of what's going to be encouraging people to come to Arlington. This is going to bring the district to where we want it to be, a district that just stands out, not just amongst the state, but across the country. It's good to have these facilities and to have these things that we call assets. But folks, let me tell you, the greatest asset that we have, well, thank you. Sorry. Okay, of all the people to say that too, because I'll live with that. Folks, we're truly the greatest asset that we have, and many of you guys will think that I'm about ready to say our children. I'm not, because our children is our purpose, our reason, and our desire. They're our responsibility. The greatest asset that we have is you. Please know, from a board standpoint, from a central administration standpoint, everything that we do over the course of this next year, the next 5 years of this bond, it all comes back to you. I'll just wrap up by saying this. What was phenomenal is this bond passed by 70%. On any given day, 25% of people are going to be against something. 25% of the people don't want to wake up on Christmas morning. or they feel like they got gypped by the tooth fairy after they lost a tooth. 25% of the time, you're going to feel like that somebody's beating you down. I want you to think about this. And this comes from 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your burdens, all your worries, all your anxieties, everything that's on your shoulders, and lift it up to Him, and you'll make it through the day. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Ms. Sullins and Mr. Hibbs, for your words of wisdom. Now, Board Secretary Dr. Aaron Reich will tell us about our next special guest.
Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if I can do anything better than Mr. Hibbs' assets. Thank you for that, John. One thing that John mentioned was our goals in having our district be a standout district. We've all been in this room for a little bit, and I'd like to change this up just a tad, moment of personal privilege. If I could have everybody in this district stand up for just a minute. Stretch, relax just a little bit. Okay, and while you're standing, I want to hear how good you are at a cheer. Okay? Oh, wait. This is scripted. I want to hear, as if we're at a Rangers game, I want to hear AISD, let's go. Clap, clap. Are we ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
AISD, let's go. AISD, let's go. AISD, let's go. Hey.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you all. You can sit now. When things get challenging, you all stand up. You all stand up. You do the great things. You are the connection. You are anything that we do at the board level with our strategic plan and driving vision. It's all about you making that connection with our children. Thank you. Thank you so much. And ready or not, here they come on Monday, right? 64,000 of them. Yeah. What we're trying to do in this district is truly transformational. And I'm here to talk about one of the pieces of our bond program and in our district is technology. It's an essential piece in the big cog of the wheels that make our district run. And one of the things that our technology department did last year was create a Transformation Through Innovations grant program. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah? Yeah? I'll tell you, at the board level, we were so impressed and continue to be impressed with the amount of innovation that is coming to our technology department in that grant process. One of the programs, or one of the grant recipients, we're going to meet here in just a moment. We had a very unique grant. This was from a team of teachers at Bowie High School. And it was regarding the study of DNA, which is pretty impressive. This is an AISD, the study of DNA. We can do anything we set our minds to. So we're going to hear information from a couple of our students from Bowie High School. We have Blessings Johnny and D'Angelo Flores. And we'll have Mr. Rick Garcia come up, who is our Executive Director of Transformational Learning. So please come on up, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Reich. It looks like we have a cheering section back there, right? Excellent. Well, we had the chance to meet backstage, but I know Bowie knows you very well. Bowie High School knows you very well. But why don't we take a few seconds and just introduce ourselves to the rest of the crowd. So, D'Angelo, what do you think? Ladies first? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Blessing Johnny. I'm 17 years old, and I currently go to Bowie right now, and I'm going to be a senior.
Pleasure to be speaking with you.
Hello, my name is D'Angelo Flores. I'm 17 as well. I attend Bowie, and I'm going to be a senior this coming year.
Fantastic. It's a pleasure to be here with both of you. And we learned that, of course, as Dr. Reich just mentioned, Bowie High School teachers just recently won this grant, Transformation Through Innovation grant. Tell us what that experience was like for you.
It was a cool experience. We got a lot of hands-on with new technology that we had never really had seen before, and it was just a learning experience throughout the entire process.
What kind of technology are we talking about?
Well, we used a lot of new technology. We got centrifuges and micropipetters, a lot of new things that we've never used before. The centrifuges spin, and they're able to separate the material we extracted, the liquid from the pellet.
Centrifuges and what was the other?
Micropipetters.
Micropipetters? No? Say it again, what was it?
Micropipetters.
Oh, of course. I've got one of those in my garage. Now, obviously, technology is big in our school district. It's very, very exciting. How has it impacted the way you learn?
I think it's impacted us in a positive way because we're able to take the experiences that we have learned with this grant and bring it on with us into college. And even if we decide to continue with it, we can go on past college with it.
Are you both going to be science majors?
I'm not.
I'm planning to, yes.
Okay, fantastic. How about you? Anything else to add to that comment, Blessing?
The new technology we use is all technology you would see in a lab, and it definitely gave us a new experience. And now we can all say we've used this before, and it would be very beneficial later on in life.
Sure. One of the things that I think most of all of our teachers really would agree upon is that when we teach, it's a two-way, I guess kind of like a two-way street, meaning you're learning, but so are we as teachers. What do you think our teachers took away throughout this grant, when they experienced? What did they learn?
I think they learned just as much as we did because the whole process, like we said, it was new to us, and I'm sure most of our teachers were familiar with it, and the fact that they got to be hands-on with it with us as well, I think that helped. And there were times where both of us, the teacher and the student, weren't too sure about the procedures, so we had to call certain times, and it got complicated at times, but we both learned through it at the same time, and we both came out.
Maybe the new equipment, a new experience for both students and teachers. How about you, Blessing? Anything to add to that?
It was very fun. Yeah, it was fun to see us all learning together because we all did follow one main manual that came from the company that brought us the technology. So it was a cool experience, you could say, to see the teacher learning and reading along as the same thing we're doing.
Sure. Now, backstage, you mentioned that you were working with strawberries, is that right? Or mint leaves? You were making what, a smoothie? What were we doing?
Well, the whole process, we nicknamed it BIBS, which stood for Bowie Institute of Bioinformatics and Statistics. And the process, we got to choose our plant. And from that, we extracted the DNA, and then throughout the process, we magnified the nucleotide sequence that we needed. And once we found it, we attempted to find the banding, and that's actually where we were stopped because we didn't pass that point.
Okay. Is that where the centrifuges came in when you were extracting the DNA, Blessing?
After that point, where we needed to separate the DNA part that we needed from the rest of the plant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if technology appears to impact the way we learn, how would you encourage other teachers to use it?
I would encourage other teachers to use it by kind of explaining to them how significant it is to us. The technology, a lot of it we are used to growing up in this age, but when we are introduced to new technology, like we were in this grant, it was fun to learn new stuff. It kept us excited, kept us interested in what we were doing.
Fantastic. Anything to add, D'Angelo?
No, it's just take full advantage of what's given forth, and it's something that you can carry on with the future and say you've done, and you can continue with it if you do wish to continue with it.
Sure. Did you learn anything about hypothesis? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah. Like what?
The general if, then so.
The general if, okay.
Then
Okay. Well, I kind of have a hypothesis too for us here today, and that is, I would argue that every teacher in here, every educator that's seated in here, was impacted significantly by a teacher in their life. You want me to try that out? So, everyone, if you were impacted by a teacher, professor, during your education, raise your hand. Look at that. Thank you. Pretty good, huh? We can record that. How about the two of you? Have you all been impacted by teachers in Arlington ISD?
Of course, there's not really one that we can pick out because during the entire process of the grant, there were many departments that helped us, and some that weren't even supposed to be involved were involved, and they really were beneficial to the whole procedure.
What other departments were involved?
For instance, the film department. We also, at the end of our the experiment we ran, we also made a video, and the film department was very integrated into that. We also like to thank other teachers that didn't really get to their part because of our half not finishing, but they also were very helpful in our presentation at the PDC.
Fantastic. So really not just one single teacher, it was really a whole team of teachers that helped out on this project.
Yeah.
From the scientists that were involved to the film folks that were also a part of this grant. So fantastic to be speaking with you. And for us teachers, how important it is for us to remember that you can think about how many students you've impacted in your career, whether this is your first year of teaching, your 30th year or more, whatever amount of years. Here we have two examples of that, and you can kind of reflect on yourself how many students you have impacted in your career, and how exciting it is that in 2014, we get to do that again. We get to impact more students. On that note, please join me in thanking D'Angelo and Blessing. It was a pleasure sitting here with you.
Again, thank you, Blessing and D'Angelo, for your passion for learning. We want to wish you the best in the future. In the AISD, our students truly have many opportunities to learn unique skills that could propel them in a future career. At this time, I'd like to welcome back Dr. Marcelo Cavazos for our closing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope today that you have found something that has inspired you today to continue the journey of access, excellence, and innovation. So proud to work in a school district where we have such an exceptional team from the board level across this district. I wish you the very best this next school year. I know that we will be focused on providing students those opportunities. So we're going to lead the way, not only in Arlington, in our community, in our region, the state, the nation, but the world. And we're going to do that together. So I appreciate you so much. I'd like for the board to come back up, and everybody who had a part in this today, Hugo and the students, come back up to give them a round of applause. Come on up. Thank you all very much, and have a great school year. We'll see you soon.